Hi, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to Dr. Muhammad Rosli and to my fellow classmates. So today we will be presenting the summary of Chapter 5, Islamic, Western and Eastern Philosophy of Education. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Hi, I am Siti Nurnashwa binti Muhammad Haizan. I will do a summary of Islamic philosophy of education. This part of the chapter is actually very simple, it's not like very complicated to understand. It's very simple. All right, so Islamic world emphasizes the importance of education since the early days. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked to read out the message received from Allah to the people after the first revelation. Revelation means wahyu. All right, so this whole education thing mentioned in Surah Al-Alaq verse 4 until verse 5. These verses stress about how important education is and how it's very important for human beings to further their education. So you see how important education is until it's mentioned in the Al-Quran. This is the concept of education, of Islamic education that I've simplified. Alright, so Islamic philosophy of education help human beings develop from these four aspects, which are behavioral, spiritual, physical, and intellectual. So you can see over here, right? Islamic education is very complete. Alright, we have 7 branches from the 4 aspects that I mentioned before, that I mentioned earlier. Alright, so these 7 branches, we have Muslim faith education, al-imansiyah. Iman means faith. Life education, al-nafsiyah. Physical education, al-jismiyah. Jismiyah, jasmani. Alright, mental education, al-akiliyah. Social education, al-izlimayah. And sex education, we have al-jinisiyah. The next one, we have character building education, al-kuluqiyah. These are the Islamic philosophers that contribute to the Islamic philosophy education. Alright, so we have Al-Ghazali, Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Rushd, and Al-Farabi. So about their contribution, you all can read it in the textbook. Alright? So what I can conclude from this part of the chapter is that Islamic philosophy education is actually an education that aim to produce human beings who are obedient to Allah, okay, to be like how to be a good caliph of Allah, how to be a good human beings, a noble man, mengikut sunnah dan ajaran Al-Quran. So yeah, it's all about tanggungjawab kepada Tuhan, masyarakat dan diri sendiri. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon and evening to our beloved lecturer, Dr. Muhammad Rosli, and also my fellow friends. My name is Nur Atika bin Yusmadi, and I'm going to present on the second part of this chapter, where I'm going to summarize the Eastern concept of education and its philosophy. Alright, so we'll move on to the next slide. Right here, I've actually simplified all of the information, and I only highlight the main point of their life history because I'm pretty sure that you can read that on your own. So here, when we talk about the Eastern philosophy of education, you need to remember these 2 philosophers, where the first one is Confucius and the second one is Rabindranath Tagore. I'm not quite sure on how to pronounce it. Alright, so here I've also attached their picture. Since Confucius was born in 551 and he died on 479 before century, we do not have like a mental representation and how he looks like, so we just kind of have like an imagery of him. So he was born in Kufu, Shandong province of China. When we talk about Rabindranath Tagore, this is how he looks like. He looks so handsome there. He was born in 1861 and he died in 1941. He was born in Kolkata, India. So yeah, you need to remember their face and where and when they were born. Alright, we'll move on to the next slide. Alright, so in this slide, as you can see here, I've actually made like a simplified version of this part in this chapter. So here I've also made like a comparison for you to understand more better, and like it is in the term of something that is comprehensible. So yeah, we'll see these two philosophers and their comparison of their views towards education. Alright, so first we'll see about Confucius' philosophy of education. His concept of education is that education is for all, irrespective of socio-economic or social status. So what he meant was like no matter how poor you are, no matter how wealthy you are, you deserve, and I would say you have to get education, because we don't have like any barriers in like even though we are from different stages, sorry, different social status, we don't have that barriers. I mean that it is according to him. But when we say about Rabindranath Tagore's philosophy of education, his concept of education is a process to prepare human beings to live their own life. So if I were to compare it to nowadays perception towards education, it's slightly different. I would say totally different, because I think that we only focus on. I'm not saying this in a wide range of spectrum, but I would say some of the people in the society thinks that we still have the stigma over education, as in they think that education is just like something that is not related to spiritual morality and all of that. It's just like a passing grade. Like if you want to become a degree holder, then you will just pass a grade. So yeah, I think that's for the concept of education. We'll move on to the goals of education. So the next part will be goals of education. As for Confucius, he said that his goals of education is to produce an able individual, or we call it as Xianshai, with good moral values. So yeah, as I said before, it's different for like nowadays perception towards education. So as for Benjamin Foucault's philosophy of education, his goals of education was to produce holistic individuals through interaction and integration with the environment. So yeah, we I would say that you can see the differences, between the Eastern views towards education and nowadays views towards education. It's completely different. We can see that the Eastern philosophers stress, or they put the stress into about the relationship between us and how we live a life. It's not something like they did not focus on something like academically. I mean, like they do focus on something that is curriculum wise, but for them, they think that like the human relation between them and environment is also important. All right, so we'll move on to the next slide. Here we have the Confucius philosophy of education. His focus field in education, where it is curriculum-wise, and we will see also Rabindranath Tagore's philosophy of education. His focus field in education, where it is also curriculum-wise. And the last one is the role of the teacher. So as for Confucius' focus field in education, his focus was on moral education, music, poetry, literature, history, code of good behavior. While the Rabindranath Tagore focus field in education is more like about music, arts, literature, drama and dance, history, environmental studies. So, okay, as for the last part, this is the last part where we are going to look at the role of the teacher, their views towards the role of the teacher. As for Confucius, he said that the role of the teacher is as a skilled facilitator and disseminator of knowledge. So in bahasa, we can say that cikgu ni sebagai seorang facilitator ataupun pengajar lah, seorang yang macam supervisor. It's not like a supervisor, something like that. And dia ni penyebar kepada ilmu pengetahuan kepada kalau kita kata dalam konteks ni it's like a students lah, penyebar ilmu pengetahuan kepada students. Okay, as for Rabindranath Tagore, the role of the teacher is as a facilitator as well as a catalyst. So, according to Rabindranath, the role of the teacher, seorang cikgu ni sebagai facilitator lah, and juga dia seorang cikgu ni juga sebagai pemangkin, okay, sebagai pemangkin for the students to achieve what they want. Yeah, I think that's all from me. That's all from my part. I hope that you guys understand, and I will pass to my friend, your Aisha, to present on the Western concept of education and its philosophy. I hope you understand. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum and very good evening to Dr. Muhammad Rosli and to all my fellow friends. My name is Aisha binti Ahmad Nasruddin. I'll be summarizing the Part 3 Western Concept of Education and its Philosophy. Here are the 5 major educational philosophies. It is divided into 2, traditional and modern. There are perennialism, essentialism, progressivism, reconstructivism, and existentialism. Perennialism is an educational philosophy that based on Aristotle. It is the most conservative, traditional, and flexible philosophy. The ideas are relevant and meaningful. This philosophy is aimed to teach the students the ways of thinking that will secure individual freedoms, human rights, and responsibility through the nature. Teacher-centered is because the teacher, they must to have the concentration and perseverance, and they have to coach for the students to have the critical thinking skills, so that they will develop the moral development and enduring the ideas. Moving on to the next traditional major philosophies, which is essentialism. This is an educational theory that believes that the purpose of schooling is to impart necessary skills, knowledge, and attitudes to enable young people to function as fully developed for the upcoming in the modern world. A school should be organized to transmit this core of essential material. The classrooms are also teacher-centered because the students are not free to explore questions and test materials. These usually happen in the class of math, science, history, foreign language, and English. However, the teacher need to be patient and have a positive attitude so that the students can learn the moral values and manners. It is a theory of education that is concerned with learning by doing, because students, they learn best when they pursue their own needs and their own interests, so that they can develop the problem and decision-making skills. It's not only educate them physical, also for the social and emotional needs. So the pedagogy that used in this concept, they are monitoring student progress, appraising skills, and formative evaluation. So the teacher, they just like monitor them and so that they are doing well, and they can choose like which path they want to pursue, and basically like support them. Reconstructionism, or also known as social reconstructionism, is a philosophy of education that works to change the society and to improve and reconstruct the society for social reform rather than teach about it. This is a purpose for the student to find the solution to change, to improve the societies that we have nowadays, and so that they spend the time in the community to learn its problems, and all the all the practice and the theory it unites, and so they can take action and responsibility in planning for change. Last but not least is the existentialism, which is also a student-centered. This philosophy it emphasizes the individual existence, freedom, and choice. In the view that humans they define their own meaning in life. So, as a student, they have to define their own essence, and so that they can freely choose of, for example, what subject they want to study, as long as they are interested in it. And as for the teachers, they have to relate with each student honestly and and openly, so that for the students they can have they have the confidence to pursue of what they interested in school, and also they confident in being themselves. And this one it encourages the individual creativity and imagination more than copying others. Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much.